Hello, happy Friday here. It's day 5 of 100 days of weight loss, and I'm so glad you've stuck with me this far, and I'm excited. The food plan that I have chosen has been doing very well this week, and I'm excited about it. I'm so excited about keeping my accountability to changing my way of eating and to incorporate it as a second nature thought. As we talked earlier this week, is that most weight loss plans don't address the emotional part of eating and what's eating us. And I really am enjoying this book by Linda Spangle and the day-to-day opportunities to have to direct towards that emotional eating and how we can there was a bug right there. So to be able to figure out why I'm eating the way I'm eating and to break those old patterns. Today's topic is called the Magic Notebook. And before we get into that, we'll just kind of recap a little bit about what we talked about this week. The first day was I used to be that way, but now I'm not. I used to go into Quick Trip and buy donuts. Well, now I don't go into Quick Trip and I'm not tempted to buy those donuts. So I noticed that several people have commented about having donut Fridays or different things at their workplace that causing temptations and how they've been able to walk away from them this week. And that's a great shout out to you. Good for you. The other one is the next day was interested or committed. I discovered after all these years of dieting that I was basically an interested dieter. I was consumed with dieting, but I never committed to dieting the way I feel like I do this week and the weeks to come. And with that commitment, we have to have an attitude of just do it anyway. If you set some goals for you, now mind you, they're realistic goals. If you set those for you and you come home from a long day at work and you just don't want to get it done, you got to do it anyway. So there you go. And then the feeling of accomplishment that you have when you just did it anyway. That's how I feel. And then yesterday we talked about boundaries and not diet. So we set those boundaries according to where our lifestyle is at this moment. It doesn't mean that we're straying off our diet. Our boundaries are just getting a little bit wider at times, and then they come back, and they get wider and they come back, making sure that we're staying within the guidelines that we have set for ourselves and knowing that we're not going to go overboard. I used to be a chronic faller-offer of diets all the time. Thus the topic of this Diary of a Serial Dieter, because that's what I did. I was always in the moment, and if the moment called for me being on a diet, then I was on the diet, and if the moment called for me to eat a donut, I just ate a donut. And so now I'm trying to recognize those triggers and recognize the mood and the frame of mind that I am in when I'm tempted to do these things. If I'm upset, I'm feeling anxious, I'm overwhelmed. I get anxious and overwhelmed a lot. And this year, as some of you know, has been really hard for me. And I'm surviving. And I'm moving on. I'm not moving away from the pain, but I'm moving on and being able to learn how to navigate through my life with the loss. So here we are, day 5. And the topic today is the Magic Notebook. When my son was little, he always said he wanted to grow up to be a writer illustrator. And so his grandparents and we just always bought him all sorts of stuff to promote that, writing ability and the drawing ability, and he, to make sure that he had everything he needed to be successful in his dreams. The thing that was left out was his passion and his desire. Just saying that he wanted to be a writer illustrator did not produce a writer illustrator in him at all. That was his dream, and it was his, oh, I want to do that. And I used to have talks with him when he was younger, because I really encouraged him to to journal every night, to talk about his day. He had such a sweet sense of humor. Well, it wasn't sweet. It was more like a sarcastic sense of humor, quick-witted, and his tongue was just, it could be sharp at times, but he was so creative, and I wanted him to learn how to capture that on paper. And he just never got it. He just thought, well, I want to do it, therefore I will. And you know what? It never happened. We translate that back to me. I've been a dieter all my life. I've wanted to be thin. I've wanted to be able to walk into regular stores or even Goodwill and pick up a pair of used jeans, you know. But not doing anything about it didn't make that dream come true. I used to be that way, and now I'm not. I'm changing the way I look at things today, tomorrow, next year, because I don't want to be that way anymore. I want to be able to say it, live it, and experience it. And I hope that's what you want to do too. So by taking that little magic notebook out and maybe writing a sentence, a paragraph, whatever, even if you're not a writer, but kind of recapping your day and different things that highlighted it during that day that you liked, or maybe that donut in the office is still killing you when you go to bed at night, that you wish, oh, I wish they wouldn't have that. Write it down and know that, you know, it's not going to be forever that you won't be able to have a donut. But just get over that feeling of, I can never have a donut, to where someday I'll be able to have a donut and keep it at one, you know, or whatever. I keep saying donuts because donuts are my thing, and ice cream was my thing too, but now I feel pretty good about where I'm at with ice cream. Truth be told, it could be anything sitting in front of me that's bad for me, and if I'm in a weird mood, I can devour anything and everything and not even taste it and not even enjoy it. It's like, I imagine it's like somebody walking into a bar and has a problem with alcohol. And it's not necessarily the taste of the alcohol, it's just, it's numbing your feelings. And I think that that's how food has been for me. Well, again, I used to be that way, and now I'm not. So I'm going to live it and experience it just the way God intended us to be. Because, you know, this is God's temple, and we need to take care of it and respect it and respect ourselves. So my challenge is to write every night, just like I told my son many years ago. Write every night, because as we write it, we become aware of it and we can hone our craft and our goals. So I hope you have